come in. I was waiting to see her. We're good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is the wrap up of the 3-day survey we've been here on. Just in case you don't know all of us, I'm Anne. I was the admin surveyor, Nate and Laura, and they were looking at all your wonderful programs. So we've been here for 3 days. So our role has been to come in and at a technical level, determine the level of conformance to the standards. So that's meaning, all right, it's in full conformance, partial or non-conformance. The intent was that we were hopefully coming in as sort of more peer reviewers, because we have come from CARF accredited organization where we've gone through multiple surveys of our own. So we know what it's like to having to be getting prepared and the stress and the anxiety that can be associated with who are these strange people could be coming into our organization. So the intent was, our hope is that it was a collaborative process and hopefully there shouldn't be any surprises. And so just to give a quick review again, so like I said, we're here to sort of rate full, partial or non-conformance, and if it's partial or non-conformance, then there'll be a recommendation attached to it, and the expectation of CARF is that you will report the way you're going to implement that. We're also going to be providing some consultations, which are just suggestions, and you can take them or leave them. A lot of it is just sort of some things we've experienced in seeing in numerous other organizations or our own work. So after we're done today, we've got 5 days, the report will get submitted to CARF. In 6 to 8 weeks, the organization will receive the final report. So we don't make the final decision. So CARF will make the final decision. It goes through a number of 4 layers of editing, apparently. So once you receive the report, then you'll get a quality improvement, what they call a quality improvement report, which will summarize any of the recommendations that came out of today. And you'll have 90 days to respond to that with action plans of how you're going to meet those standards. So before we dive into it, it's going to be a bit tedious because we do some reading. So bear with us while we do that. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. You've been very welcoming. It's been a pleasure being here. Just so impressed with everything that you do and all of you people here. It's just, I know we've really enjoyed our last 3 days here. So is there anything else I wanted to say? I think that's about it. So what we're going to do now, and I just want to add that this was a very unique survey for me, and I will explain why at the end, and I just want to start with that. So what we're going to do is just start going through each section. We're going to highlight what each section covers, and then talk about if there's any recommendations or consultations. And then we always like to end on a positive note to summarize a lot of the strengths that we noticed here. And there was a lot. So I will start with section 1, which is aspire to excellence, and that's sort of the administrative section. So the first section is leadership. So the key areas addressed are leadership structure and responsibilities, person-centered philosophy, organizational guidance, leadership accessibility, cultural competency, diversity and inclusion, corporate responsibility, organizational fundraising, if applicable, and there's no recommendations, and there is one consultation. In the spirit of demonstrating cultural competency and inclusion, the organization may want to consider moving to a gender-neutral approach to writing policy, which can demonstrate to personnel that it is a safe and welcoming organization, recognizing the diversity and gender identity. This involves changing terminology if he, she to sort of they or their. And I know you guys are kind of already doing that, but we thought we'd put that in there. The next section is strategic planning. The key areas addressed here are environmental considerations, strategic plan development, implementation, and periodic review, and there's no recommendations. Input from persons served and other stakeholders. Key areas addressed, collection of input from persons served, personnel, and other stakeholders, integration of input into business practices and planning, and there's no recommendations. Legal requirements. Key areas addressed, compliance with obligations, response to legal action, confidentiality and security of records, and there's no recommendations. Financial planning and management. Key areas addressed include budgets, review of financial results and relevant factors, fiscal policies and procedures, reviews of bills for services and fee structures if applicable, review audit of financial statements, safeguarding funds of persons served if applicable. And again, no recommendations. You guys are getting boring.
Kind of boring.
Risk management, the key areas addressed here are risk management plan, implementation and periodic review, adequate insurance coverage, media relations and social media procedures, reviews of contract services. And again, there's no recommendations. Health and safety. This is one of the key areas that I was telling people the first CARF training I ever went to. As my own organization was getting prepared for accreditation, they said health and safety, pay attention. It's the most important thing, and it's where most organizations miss. So on that note, the key areas addressed here are healthy and safe environment, competency-based training on health and safety procedures and practices, emergency and evacuation procedures, access to first aid and emergency information, critical incidents, infections and communicable diseases, health and safety inspections, and there's no recommendations. Workforce development and management, key areas addressed, composition of workforce, ongoing workforce planning, verification of backgrounds, credentials, fitness for duty, workforce engagement and development, performance appraisals, and succession planning. And again, there's no recommendations, but there's a few consultations. REACH's current practice is to renew criminal, and if I say anything that's incorrect here, let me know, okay? And I can clean that up. So REACH's current practice is to renew criminal record checks every 5 years, but this isn't identified in policy. The organization is encouraged to add renewal times to their existing policy. Next consultation is REACH currently has a comprehensive onboarding process. The organization's performance measurement and management system is part of the program level training and orientation. REACH may want to consider introducing the performance measurement and management system to the organizational level of onboarding orientation, advising new hires they will learn more specifics regarding their role and responsibilities when they receive their program level orientation. Introducing it as part of the initial organizational level onboarding will assist in reinforcing the importance of the organization's performance measurement and management system. Next consultation is REACH's policy and procedures. Identify that probationary appraisals will be conducted between 3 and 6 months. The organization is encouraged to update the policy to clarify circumstances for these timelines. For example, full-time employees will receive their probation evaluation at 3 months in line with labor laws, but for those who are casual or part-time, it could be up to 6 months, and it's based on the hours of work. So clarifying in this policy will assist personnel in understanding what to expect and when. Technology, ongoing assessment of technology and data use, including input from stakeholders, technology and system plan, implementation and periodic review, technology policies and procedures. There is no recommendations, but there is a couple of consultations. The organization has developed comprehensive procedures for business continuity disaster recovery plan that addresses numerous areas beyond technology, such as the building is not accessible. There's a brief section related to disaster recovery related to technology. While an annual test is completed, the organization is encouraged to expand on the procedures specifically related to technology in the annual test, specifically to include recovery of data should there be a cybersecurity attack or something else corrupting the system. The next consultation is REACH currently provides training to personnel in the area of cybersecurity. The organization may want to consider other creative options to assist personnel in understanding complexities related to cybersecurity. One idea has been successfully used in other organizations is called tech talks. These are informal sessions where each tech talk is related to a specific aspect of cybersecurity, using an engaging and front approach to a dry topic can assist to engage personnel in understanding the importance and potential impacts to the organization related to cybersecurity. Rights of persons served. Key areas addressed are policies that promote rights of persons served, communication of rights to persons served, and formal complaints of persons served. And again, there's no recommendations, but there is a consultation. The organization has a comprehensive procedures around grievances and timelines for responses. The organization is encouraged to clarify in procedures that there's some typos here, that the response to the complaint will be received in writing. So it's really just adding a few words to some of the existing policies to be clear. Accessibility. Key areas addressed here are assessment of accessibility needs and identification of barriers, accessibility plan, implementation and periodic review, and requests for reasonable accommodations. And again, there's no recommendations in this area. Performance measurement and management. Key areas addressed: leadership accountability for performance measurement and management, identification of gaps and opportunities related to performance measurement and management, input from stakeholders, performance measurement and management plan, identification of objectives and performance indicators for service delivery, and then also for business functions, and personnel training and performance measurement and management. And again, there's no recommendations. Performance improvement. Key areas addressed include analysis of service delivery performance and business function performance, identification of areas needing performance improvement and implementation of action plans, use of performance information to improve program service quality and make decisions, and communication of performance information. And again, no recommendations, and there's a consultation. REACH compiles a number of annual outcome reports globally for the organization and at a program level. It also tracks characteristics of the person served. The organization may want to consider consolidating these various reports into one comprehensive report, which would allow the report to be more complete and consumable. So that is the end of the areas that I looked at. Oh no, I forgot to mention in my introduction, between the three of us, we reviewed a total of 1,200 standards. So that's the admin section. So a few consultations and no recommendations. So passing it on at the program level now. Nate, do you want to take it over?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. As surveyors, we never know how we're going to be received, and you guys have been wonderful, warm and welcoming and open and honest. You laughed at our jokes and you even pretended to be interested in what I'm saying. But so thank you. And Sarah, a special thanks to you. You kept me on task, and
All of us.
yeah, truly appreciate that. And tell the other Sarah too that I had a good time with. Okay. Section 2, quality individualized services and supports. The first thing we looked at was program service structure. The key areas here are services are person-centered and individualized. Persons are given information about the organization's purposes and ability to address desired outcomes. We looked at the documented scope of services. Is it shared with stakeholders? Service delivery, is it based on accepted field practices? Communication for effective service delivery and interest-exit transition criteria, and there are no recommendations in this area. 2B is individual-centered service planning, design, and delivery. Again, we looked at services are person-centered and individualized, and are you guys given information about the organization's purposes and ability to address desired outcome? And there are no recommendations in this area. You guys could at least smile.
We're waiting for it.
Section 2C is medication monitoring and management, and the key areas addressed are current complete records of medications used by persons served, written procedures for storage and safe handling, educational resources and advocacy for persons served in decision-making, physician review of medications that are used, and training and educations for persons served regarding medications, and there are no recommendations in this area.
2E, community services principal standards. The key areas here are access to community resources and services, enhanced quality of life, community inclusion and participation, and there are no recommendations here. There is one suggestion. You guys have several community partners that you've been involved with for years. Recognizing these local partners and recruiting new ones is very important to the continual growth of your programs. A suggestion is to utilize your monthly letter to recognize and highlight the local partnership and disseminate the newsletter to the community. It's further suggested that when you send a newsletter to a partner that is being featured, to send it in a picture frame so that it can immediately be hung on the wall.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Section 2F is service delivery, using information and communication technologies. Key areas here are written procedures for the use of information and communication technologies, otherwise referred to as ICT and CARF-E's, when you're doing service delivery. Personnel trained on how to deliver these services via ICT and the equipment that is used. Instructions and training for persons served, family or support system members, and others. Provision of information related to ICT, maintenance of ICT equipment, emergency procedures that address unique aspects of service delivery via ICT, and the scope of those ICT services. And again, there are no recommendations in this area.
And now we move to the core programs, community services. First section we looked at was services for children and youth, and blew me away. Wonderful, wonderful services. Where we look at our early intervention, individualized services based on identified needs and desired outcomes, communication with families and other support services, collaborative service planning, healthcare, safety, emotional and developmental needs of the child, skill development for decision-making, planning for successful transitions, and there are no recommendations in this area. There is one suggestion, and I just put it in this area because I forgot to put it in, and then I had to remember. And it's the suggestion as it relates to fundraising. We're suggesting that you utilize your local Chamber of Commerce and churches for fundraising opportunities, and I explained that to some folks earlier. And then there's respite or respite services. The key areas here are time-limited temporary relief from service delivery and accommodations for families living routine and needs of person served, and there are no recommendations.
All right, moving on to section 5, which is specific population designations and enhancements. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that took time to talk to me, and Carol drove me around. And so thank you to everybody. By the way, thank you for these fabulous snacks. They are on my meal plan. They are paleo diabetic friendly-ish, so. Great job, yes. Okay, so section 5A, children and adolescents specific population designation. The key areas addressed are children, adolescents, and their families are provided with options. Social, vocational, psychological, and physical needs are met. There are no recommendations in this area.
So when I said at the beginning that this was a unique survey for me, I've been serving not as long as these two, about 5 years, but I've probably done 20 just in the last year. This is my first survey ever where there's no recommendation. We looked. Not that we're trying to catch it, but we looked, and CARF is always saying, you got to find a few at least. But every time we found something, it's you to produce something and say, no, you got it covered. So kudos to all of you. Like, that does not happen very often at all. And well, so
Yeah, I think this is my fourth.
over 300 surveys. So
Oh,
And I've only seen one in almost 6 years, and it was the very first survey I ever did, oddly enough. Yeah, so this is the second one ever.
So something to be very proud of. It just
Very
shows how
much so.
seriously you take this and how you're committed to it.
it's Canada. I've had two surveys in Canada that didn't have any recommendations.
Wow. So, we always like to end, well, it's been a very positive anyways, but we want to end on a just sort of summarizing the strengths we identified, and there was lots. And already coming in today after I'd finished this, there was already things, oh yeah, I forgot that. I thought, so I might be adding some things in there, but so I'll get started here. So strengths, so REACH, Child and Youth Development Society, is an impressive organization that is clearly value-driven with many highly committed, professional and dedicated long-term staff. Their approach is truly person-centered with a goal of building family capacity and focusing on individual outcomes. This demonstrates their philosophy and commitment to providing effective, truly person-centered services. REACH's executive director is highly committed to is a highly committed professional and has led the organization through significant growth and challenges over the years. She is respected by the staff and community, having been presented with the Citizen of the Year Award from Delta Chamber of Commerce in 2023. She leads a strong leadership team who are innovative and looking forward constantly developing strategies to address gaps in services. Well deserved. REACH has worked hard to ensure they are embedded in their community and various provincial and in their community and with various provincial organizations, including but not limited to Delta Child and Youth Development Committee, Provincial Infant Development Program, Coordinator Committee, and again, you can catch me later if I missed these wrong. BC Association for Child Development and Information, BC Disability Collaborative, Federation of Social Services. REACH recognizes the importance of being connected to the community to ensure families receive all the supports that they need. REACH's strategic plan is a comprehensive, active, and alive plan. The organization has implemented a practice where they are continually conducting environmental scans at the program and board levels. This information is brought forward at monthly meetings, and updates to the strategic planning are ongoing. So just to say, I've never seen this before. And so that a lot of places will have a strategic plan and it's very brief and sitting on a shelf somewhere. The organization's cultural competency, diversity and inclusion plan is comprehensive, demonstrating their commitment to providing culturally competent services, recognizing the importance of understanding who they are serving and able to adapt services and approaches. In addition, this plan demonstrates their commitment to Indigenous communities, incorporating recommendations from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's report, and has developed strong relationships with the local Indigenous community. And being from Canada, I understand the importance of the Truth and Reconciliation, and it's always really, I'm really always impressed with organizations that I see that truly embrace it, which it's hit and miss. REACH's performance appraisals for staff are completed consistently with well-written goals that are specific and measurable. By writing goals in this way supports personnel in being able to be successful in meeting the goals set. It's very rare that we see goals written in a measurable way. That's a very common recommendation for organizations. So feedback from community partners and funders were highly complimentary regarding REACH. Identified strengths include a fantastic team, highly professional and skilled, very dedicated to the families they serve, and work very collaboratively with others in the community. Okay, who's next?
I think it's me.
Okay.
REACH is to be commended overall for their exceptional programming for children and youth. REACH offers a myriad of interventions that provide holistic care for children and their families. The organization provides these services in a consultative and collaborative manner with their customers, their stakeholders, and the community. The deep commitment and attention to detail they provide for each individual is amazing. The personnel at REACH are kind, caring, considerate, and passionate about helping children. The REACH Child and Youth Development Society demonstrates a strong commitment to safety. Safety policies and procedures are thorough, and they are followed consistently by all employees at all locations. Safety and emergency equipment and supplies are easily accessible, meticulously inventoried and labeled, as well as abundant. Emergency go bags are packed in consideration of every contingency and also include visual instructions for evacuations. This is not something that you see everywhere. This is very, very different, and you're to be commended for your health and safety practices. The REACH autism program and the behavioral interventions used are truly excellent. Training provided to behavior interventionists is comprehensive and constantly ongoing, perpetuating optimal outcomes. Employees in this program embody the philosophy of start small, move slow, meeting each child and family where they are. Further special considerations are made for children who demonstrate extreme stress during interventions, providing employees with customized session structure and the child with positive behavior supports, resulting in less distress and greater positive change for the child. Early intervention therapies at REACH are exceptional. Each IFSP is methodically written, outlining an intricate plan of goals, objectives, and desired outcomes. Clinicians of different modalities both collaborate with and complement one another to provide best practice interventions with each child. Therapy sessions include a vast array of engaging interactive toys, equipment, and activities that produce positive outcomes for children served. And because I was in the IDP room, there was someone conducting a 2-hour session next door to me yesterday. So I actually got to hear the interactions between the therapist that was working with that child. And it was awesome to get to hear that going on right next door. The infant development program at REACH is to be commended for the many intervention options they provide. Parents of infants in this program describe how incredibly helpful REACH has been, stating that they offer so many useful strategies. One parent who accessed REACH IDP for her child stated that the employees at REACH, quote, always listen, they never judge, and they are part of our community. The Positive Behavior Supports Program at REACH provides more than just intervention strategies for parents. It provides hope amidst confusing and frustrating behavior patterns. Parents whose children are served by this program made it clear that REACH provided excellent consultation with very timely communication. Parents stated that they had learned so much about their child and how to help them, especially using the ABCs of behavior. One parent stated, quote, REACH is excellent with communication. They're always on top of everything. Parents whose children are served through the multiple programs at REACH all agree that communication between personnel and parents is exceptional. Multiple parents commented about how important communication is to them and how REACH goes above and beyond to provide thoughtful, caring, thorough, and timely communication. Some parents stated that they had tried working with other organizations in the past, but that REACH was superior by far in all aspects of their business and clinical practices. Again, that's not something that you hear very often. Communication is where a lot of organizations miss the mark, especially when you have a large coverage area. So you guys are to be commended for the communication. REACH has an extraordinary website. Anything a parent, stakeholder, or community member may need related to assisting infants, children, and youth with their development are easily accessible online. All programs and services are described in detail. Parents whose children are on a wait list have access to many resources, services, and links to assist them while they wait. The website is well maintained, including an up-to-date calendar of events and programs. This is one more way that REACH demonstrates their love of children and of their community. And my final one is all personnel at REACH demonstrate their commitment to being an ally to typically marginalized groups and persons. They exhibit cultural consciousness, promote diversity, and fully support truth and reconciliation for Indigenous peoples. They are simply inclusive to everyone. Their inclusivity is woven into the very texture of the organization, providing everyone around them with feelings of warmth and safety. This is truly a safe space.
Amen.
We're gonna have a little party.
I'm not here-
We're not done. Sorry, we're not done. Gotta keep listening.
I'm not getting ready to cry. I gotta wipe my nose.
He's crying.
Sure.
The files of the children and youth were complete and easy to navigate. The facilities are clean, practical, and functional. It was clear that the organization was diligent and worked hard in preparation for this survey. REACH is acknowledged for the children and youth first attitude that is displayed throughout the organization. The parents and guardians of the children and youth express that they feel appreciated and respected. Based on observations of interactions during the tours and interviews, it is evident that a spirit of teamwork has been cultivated in this organization. The staff has a sense of camaraderie and is bound by their shared commitment to serving children and youth. The staff works together to make sure that the children receive a high quality of service. The organization stresses the importance of their mission and the staff are dedicated and able to achieve success because of the work of the upper leadership. One of the coordinators said, "Our leaders are the best role models and mentors. They don't ask you to do anything that they themselves aren't willing to do." Stakeholders interviewed about services that REACH provided were complimentary in their responses. They praised REACH staff for being sensitive to the needs of the children, stating that the staff is responsive and professional. When the stakeholders were asked to provide a one-word description of REACH, they used the words family, supportive, inclusive, caring, progressive, welcoming, wonderful, fantastic, phenomenal, and extraordinary. The respite and group respite programs have demonstrated themselves to be very successful at helping children and youth grow socially and helping parents lower their anxiety. The facility that the group respite program uses has games and entertainment for all ages. The traditional respite program is described as flexible, reliable, and God-sent. Stakeholders have expressed their satisfaction with both programs. REACH services for children and youth are outstanding and among the best services in this category that I have ever encountered as a CARF surveyor. You guys, I've done more than 300 of these things, so that's saying something. The program has a component to it that allows for 1 year behavioral health services to be condensed to 4 months with the same, if not improved, level of success. The program is innovative, creative, and facilitated by staff that is compassionate, dedicated, and driven to excellence. The staff has a philosophy that says, "We walk alongside our families." The program is person-centered and family-centered. The staff has no concept of what it means to quit or fail. In addition, organizations should be proud of the work being done with the indigenous population and their families. It is culturally sensitive to all involved and will serve as one of the models for those taking on this issue in the future. Staff members demonstrate dedication, respect, and professionalism. They are also described as being collaborative, supportive, and effective. There appears to be excellent rapport between staff members and the children. Staff members extend themselves beyond assigned responsibilities and are always available to the children and youth. Staff members believe in the organization's mission, and the organization is truly driven by the children and youth being served.
So that's the end of our report. And what we found and didn't find. So again, this is, like I say, a very unique survey for me. So you guys are just doing an amazing job. So keep it up.
Wonderful.
It's been great to be able, it's been a pleasure and just to be able to come in here and see what you do and how you do it and meet all of you and had some great conversations, which I really enjoyed. So, any questions before we make this officially wrapped up?
Hearing none, we really want to thank you for the three of you from the bottom of our hearts. You came into the organization and you made us feel comfortable and safe in the survey here, which is huge for us. Your collaborative approach to sharing information, sharing your knowledge, your ideas, and your wealth of experience with us through your consultations and your informal suggestions is going to help carry us a few steps further here. So we really appreciate that as well. The generosity of your comments, your insight into understanding who REACH is and the time that you took to do that, and the generosity of your comments around the work that we do has pretty much brought most of us to tears here. And so thank you so much. We're grateful that you were our surveyors. I think we would consider this to be our best survey, not only in terms of how we did, but in terms of what we learned from you and how affirming the experience and positive this experience has been for us. It's been, I mentioned briefly, it's been a challenging year for us here, and to end some of these challenges on such a positive note. Here we feel very, very, very fortunate. So thank you so much for everything. We have just a small little gift for you, a reach pin, so you can remember us. Here. And we know that one of you has to catch a flight. Is that
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. We go pretty quick here, so
Yeah, so thank you.
get through that tunnel.
Thank you.
And hands off to our leadership team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sarah.
Oh, and Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you.